the file has to have the following properties. It's got to be human readable, 1033 bytes in size, and not executable. Okay, so this is where the listing really helps out, the ls command. All right, so we're in here. Let's see what we got. There's the in here directory. They said it was in the in here directory, so we're just going to change directories to in here. All right, and hilarious. Absolutely hilarious and awful at the same time. Okay, so just reminding, it's human readable, 1033 bytes, not executable. Well, let's do a long listing in here just to see if there's anything else. So it's in any of these folders. Wonderful. Yeah, let's change directories and let's pop into maybe here 00. Uh-huh. So let's do a long listing. So when you see files that are green like this, it means they're executable. All right, so real quick, simple lesson. When we do a long listing, these permissions over here, it tells you, D tells you it's a directory, the dash tells you that it's a file. All right, and in Linux, we have RWX, which is read, write, execute. And this starts with the owner, then the group, and then others. Or yeah. Or no, I think it's the user, then the group, then the owner. I'm sorry. I think. I don't know. I may have messed that up. Don't quote me on that. You should double check it. But basically, we've got read, write, execute. So when there's an X for execute, those are the ones we have to ignore. Okay. So we have file2, dot file2, and spaces file2 that are not executable. So, those are contenders. However, if you look at the size right here, and I put it in human readable format, 9.2. In fact, let's just put it back into bytes. So let's move the human readable format. Here we go. So we've got the bytes right here. Okay, these are bytes, and really important, it needs to be 1033. So that takes all of these out. Right? So we will go back and then go into the next directory. Also, a quick tip, when you're changing directories, so when you want to move back, if you just put CD and then ... that takes you back one directory. So we will move from maybe here 00 back into in here. Okay. And then if you just type in CD in general from any directory, it'll take you right back to the home directory that you're in. All right. But we want to be back in here. Maybe here 01 and do a long listing. I don't see any files that are 1033 bytes. Okay, so CD. And let's do maybe here 02. Oops. And no 1033 byte size. All right. Back. 3. There's probably a much simpler way to do this, but you're learning Linux. Keep forgetting to do the long listing. Here we go. Nope. No 1033. So we do maybe here 04. It probably seems, come on, Red. There we go. No 1033. Probably seems really boring, but this is a part of it. And I keep fucking that up. Again, no 1033 in this column. So we keep looking. 06. keep messing it up. Ooh, 1076. Close, not there yet. Oh. 08. Nope. We're going to try 09. Oops. Huh. No 1033. Wow. Okay, this goes up there. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. All right, so we just did 09. Now we're doing 10. Nope. So I'm literally just looking at the column right here with the with the byte size real quick. You're probably thinking, oh, Red, are you going to edit any of this? Nope. Because I'm showing you what it's really like. And this is tedious, and sometimes your stuff is going to be tedious. That is a reality of cybersecurity. It's a reality of ethical hacking. You're popping in here just trying to find the target. That's a big part of capture the flag. So you are seeing what it's really like, even though it's boring and it's tedious, and you're hearing about my horrible bathroom issues and still nothing. Could be worse. You're learning how to hack and operate in a Linux environment and play capture the flag. What if you were, middle-aged and, whoops, let's do clear. Middle-aged and divorced twice and not happy with your life choices. That could always be a possibility. But instead you're here with Red. So you get to learn to hack. Yeah. Striking out. If this makes us go through every folder and we get to the final one, and that's where it's at, I won't be surprised, but it will have been a waste of time. Wow, still no files that aren't 1033, much less executable. Not executable, excuse me. Wait a minute. We've gone through every directory and we did not find a file that is 1033 bytes, not executable, and human readable. Okay. So I made a mistake and overlooked something. When you use the ls command, you can do ls-l, and that does the long listing, which shows you the file size. It shows you the, read, write, execute permissions, the owner, so on and so forth. part of that command argument, so -L is a long listing, -LA means shows all the files and directories in that directory that are hidden. And I realized when I was looking through a lot of the directories, I was typing in -L, which is the long listing, but it wasn't showing me if there were any particular files that were hidden. So we could go back through each and every single directory and find all the hidden files and see if we could find any that are 1033 bytes. However, there does tend to be a faster way to find that. So there is a command called find. And, you know, like it said at the beginning of Bandit, any of these commands, you can look at the manual page. And this is true with almost all Linux environments. You can just put man and then find. And this shows us the manual page for the command find. And you can read through this and look through everything. And I won't bore you guys with this portion. Bore everyone with this portion, excuse me. Let's see. We press Q to quit. There we go. But essentially, we can use find to recursively search through all the directories within the in here directory to be able to find it. Okay, so find. So let's just find the file that is, you know, in 1033 bytes in size and see how many of those there are, because this also finds hidden files. So find, and I put dot, which means look in this directory and below. We're going to put dash type and put F, which stands for file. So that means to look for files specifically. And we're going to put dash size, and we're going to do 1033C. Now, the reason I put C, so we put 1033 to let it know we're looking for a file size that meets 1033. And I put C right after it because it tells it look for 1033 bytes, you know, as opposed to, you know, you have to put whatever the delineation is in the manual page, which for bytes, it's C. You have to put that after the size that you're looking for. So if I put that in right there. Okay, so maybe here 07.file2. So let's go check that out. So we're going to go into maybe here 07, and excuse you. Oh, shouldn't be using the slash. See, red is screwing up all over the place. There we go. And let's do L for long listing. A, well, real quick, long listing, there is no dot file. But if I do LA, which shows all the hidden files, there is .file2. It is not executable, and it's 1033 bytes in size. Okay. All right. So then, and as we learned in our last video, dealing with files that have a dot, let's do cat, let's see, .file2. And that, oh, that's weird. It went out to the side. And there is our password. What do you know? That's a much simpler way to do it instead of going through each and every directory. But hey, you know, you got to watch me look like an idiot for a few minutes.